Hi, I am Mrs. Beeman, and this is biology, both honors and regular. I'm shortcutting a little and doing one video for both because really the difference between honors and regular is the pace at which we're going to go at. So we'll go a little more in depth with honors, we'll go a little faster with honors, but both are going to earn about the same amount of material and knowledge for biology. How am I qualified to be in this class? Well, this is my 20th year at Mission. I started at Mission. I'm going to end my career at Mission. Two of my kids have recently graduated from Mission, so I believe in the education that we are giving. I have a bachelor's in ecology from UCSB, a master's in bacterial evolution from UCI, and I got my teaching credential at Fullerton. I have three kids, like I said, one who's still in high school, two who graduated last year, one who's in Northern Arizona for environmental, one who's going to Davis for animal science. If your kids are curious at all about any of these colleges, I'd be happy to talk to them. As far as the class and our policies, the PowerPoint here in a second will fill you in more, but don't hesitate to email me, send me a remind, ask me questions. This is my native habitat. I spend hours here at the Great Park, and I'd rather answer your questions or your children's question than watch my kid dribble up the field for the millionth time. Have a good night. Okay, now I just want to get on to some general information. This applies to all of the classes that your kid could be sitting in. I teach 4 different classes this year. So I teach regular biology, honors biology, international baccalaureate biology, and AP IB environmental science. So I am a little bit here, there, and everywhere, but what's great is my courses all kind of overlap in material a little bit. So I can take my experience from one course and add it to the next. This was in the earlier part, but just again, I am a mom of 3. I've got kids in college, I've got kids in high school, and we're gonna hit my favorite topics as we go through the course of the year with the students. My expectations is that your student arrives on time and ready to work. I've been opening up my meetings about 5 minutes before the bell rings, and I will start admitting them at that time. Once we hit about 1 or 2 minutes after the bell, I have started my content. I tend not to talk very long, 15 minutes at most, maybe 20, where we go over what the previous night's homework was, and I give a little intro to what the coursework for the day is. So my Zoom meetings are not long, and if your student is 10 minutes, 15, 30 minutes late to the Zoom, chances are they will have missed that Zoom. I am always available by remind or by email, and if we need to, we can reopen a Zoom. But my goal is to, just like in my classroom, do a little introduction and then turn them loose to practice what the information is. The other good thing about this setup is that my classes are designed that if your student is absent for any reason, they can do all of the work that they need to do asynchronously. So even the intro that I will do for a unit, there is often an intro video attached to that assignment that they can watch and get the information that the students in the Zoom would get. Now, I'm not saying I don't want them in my Zoom. I really do need them there at the beginning because I'm going to clarify any misconceptions, any commonly missed answers on a homework assignment. And I really do want to connect with your student and talk to them. But if they do miss, it's not the end of the world. Your student needs to take the initiative to ask if they are confused about anything, if they missed a class period. I have 6 classes this year, so I've got around 200, 210 students. So with this being asynchronous and kids not turning on their cameras when we are in Zoom, it's really hard for me to know whether or not your particular student was there and actively engaged unless they take initiative for their own learning at this point. The positive to this, and there's a lot of negatives to what's going on with the pandemic, but the positive really is that your students are going to be so much better prepared for college when they are going to have to take that initiative for their own learning. It's hard, we're here to guide them, but they're learning a valuable life skill right now. So if there's any takeaway, that's it. I do expect all work to be turned in on Canvas on time and complete to the best of their ability. You have one chance to submit something, so make sure that you're doing it to the best of your ability the first time you do it. There will be homework. So I see your student for about 3.5 hours a week right now while we're distance learning. When we go to in person, that schedule hasn't been released at the date of my filming of this, and that's September 2nd. So maybe, hopefully, by the time you see this, we'll have more information. But that's not a lot of in-person time, and especially with the AP IB courses, there's a lot of material to get done. And so expect your student to have work outside of class hours. The goal of any assignment that I give is to embed the knowledge into the student's brain so that when they do sit down for those external exams, they have it. For my students that are freshmen in regular biology or honors biology, this information comes back around no matter what other science courses you take. So we want to make sure that you understand it the first time. There are going to be projects. The goal is to give you another avenue at gaining the information and the knowledge. So maybe the traditional assignment didn't work as far as really cementing your understanding, but a project might help with that. In addition, there will be lab work. For my IB AP courses, we're required to do 60 hours of lab work. They have not let up on that requirement. So there will be a lot of lab work as we go through. I'm trying to do labs that you guys can do very easily at home with the materials that you have. Please note that if any time you don't have the materials or you don't feel comfortable doing the lab at home, to please communicate with me and we'll either get you the materials you need if that's the stumbling block, or you'll get an alternative assignment. My goal is not to have you in front of the computer for every single one of your labs and have them all virtual. I want you getting hands-on. Science is fun because it's hands-on. Tests and quizzes, of course, there'll be those as well. I encourage you to really try and use your knowledge that you've gained and not try and rely on Google, not try and rely on your notes, not try and rely on your book. Again, my AP IB students, you're not going to have that access when you sit down to take the external exam. So yes, you could probably artificially inflate your grade by using aids as you take your test, but it's not going to help you in the long run when you're actually trying to get that college credit. You want to make sure that you study. And when you study your lecture notes, study your reading guides and study guides, study your labs, because that hands-on material will come back around. And make sure you know the vocabulary. It's been said that in a science class, you learn more new words than you do in a first-year foreign language class. So make sure that you do study that vocab. I'm always willing to answer any questions that you have. Usually I have students hang back if they've got questions after I release people to do their daily work. You can either do that, or you can hit me up by Remind, which is like a text messaging service, or by email. I am very conducive to answering students' questions. I don't want anyone to sit at home and be confused. So any way and anytime I can answer you, I will. Grades are online, and they're online in two places. One is Aries. Aries is actually the slowest place to look at your grades. The more accurate is Canvas. Everything is on our Canvas website this year, and it is updated on Canvas. I grade on Canvas, and the grade immediately goes in as soon as I hit submit for that student. And so there is a way that you can follow your kids on Canvas. If you watch this video here, it allows you to set up an observer account for your student, which means you can go in and see the weekly agendas. You can go in and see your students' grades. You can go in and see the assignments that are due. This is a really great tool, and I highly recommend that you do it. My email is there. I do answer questions by email constantly. And obviously I'm not at school, so I don't have a phone. And then, you know, if you got some time, there's some really fun videos that you can watch. ASAP Science did a whole thing on does your college choice matter, as you've got seniors that are looking to apply to college. I think this year applying to college is going to be really hard. I think that there are a lot of kids that have deferred. And so if you have a senior, you're competing not only with the other seniors around the world, you are competing with now the students that should have been freshmen in college. And then this one's fun as well. If you've got a kid that's a gamer, is there an actual benefit to gaming? If at any time you have any questions, please reach out to me. Otherwise, have a great night.